When the names Orville and Wilbur Wright are mentioned, the beginning of aviation is often the thought that follows. But history is changing, and it may be time to add another name to that conversation.
When you think of aviation, the first name that comes to mind is the Wright brothers, right? But could you believe that around the same time, a Pineville, Louisiana man patented his plan for the first airplane?
It's a story that it truly is unbelievable, and not only unbelievable that it happened, unbelievable that it's been ignored until 2023.
African-American and former slave Charles Frederick Page invented the airship and patented his version before the Wright brothers. Paul Leo Ortega also invented the working, passenger-carrying version of the helicopter. Why he is also not better known is a sad mystery. What is also a strange coincidence is, both men lived about 2 miles from each other during their lives in central Louisiana. The journey of Charles Frederick Page began in the most oppressive of circumstances. He was born into enslavement. This brutal system not only deprived individuals of their freedom, then but also systematically denied them access to education and knowledge on the pain of mutilation and death. To read and write was often prohibited and could even be punished by law. Charles Page's pursuit of literacy was a radical act of defiance. He taught himself to read and write, a remarkable achievement considering the systemic efforts to keep people of African descent in a state of enforced ignorance. Page's inspiration for his airship invention came from observing the flight of dragonflies. His family recounts that he would spend hours watching these insects, fascinated by their flight dynamics. The story goes that he would watch those things in flight for hours at a time, and I assumed that it's where he got his inspiration to build an airship. That is Joseph Page. Talking about Charles Page, who happened to be his grandfather. The significance of Page's invention cannot be overstated. It was not merely an airship. It symbolized a technological breakthrough and a bold leap into a future where flight would become a pivotal part of human progress. However, Page's achievement took place against the backdrop of the Jim Crow era. These were years marked by the systematic denial of opportunities and recognition to Black Americans. More insidiously, these years were marked by lynchings of Black people who committed the cardinal sin of becoming successful in the plain view of their white counterparts. Page's innovative approach to flight was rooted in the natural world, reflecting a keen sense of observation and creativity. It did have its own engine for horizontal movement, but it actually relayed mainly on balloons and was called an airship. But Page's story takes an unusual turn. He planned to enter his airship in a competition for a $100,000 prize at the 1904 Louisiana Purchase Exposition in St. Louis. He took his life savings, he built a working model, tested it at his home in Pineville, and then shipped it off by train to St. Louis, Missouri, where he was going to fly the airplane in St. Louis, Missouri, and then become a chapter in all of our history books, says Michael Wynn. But the aircraft never arrived at the World's Fair. His plane was destroyed or stolen, possibly due to the fact that he was an African American, says Wynn. I think that because he was a black man who had the audacity to try something that had never been done before, it's probably one of the reasons why the model disappeared and the history was never corrected to show that, says Joseph Page. There is no record of Charles Page ever building another airship, but there is a renewed effort in the city of Pineville to publicly recognize his achievements. Joe Page says, he had to care for his family. He just never saw an opportunity to gather that amount of money again and deny his family of a decent living, so he never pursued it again. Here lies Charles Frederick Page, a black man who was never recognized for his contribution to aviation, but instead of giving up, he became a farmer and a family man. He made bricks, he made coal, which was fuel at that time, commonly used for, and it was a number of things that he tried to do to better serve the community, says Joe Page again.